Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be doing another review on the second inform Thomas Delaney card. We're going to be looking at the card, his traits, stats, clips, summary, all that good stuff. Before we get into all of that, if I could ask you guys to please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when I upload, and comment down below who you'd like me to review next. And without further ado, let's get into the video. So guys, this is the team that I used Thomas Delaney in, and I played him in the CDM slot next to Wayne Rooney in a 4-2-3-1 behind Torgan Hazard and of course the wingers in Ronaldo, Stoichkov and Dybala up at the top. So he played really in that CDM slot. Now I loved him there guys. First impressions, this card, absolutely fantastic defensive player. He holds his position so well, he defends well, he tackles strongly and cleanly, and it's really fantastic to have a card like this for such a reasonable price. I mean, you've got another one in Goretzka who's very similar in terms of how he can play, but not as good defensively as this card, and we'll get into a bit more of that right now. 6 foot tall, low high work rates, left footed, 3-star skill moves and 4-star weak foot. So guys, for me this is almost the perfect CDM. 6 foot, very tall, capable player, low high, stays back, doesn't like to get forward. 3-star skill moves is fine, I don't really use skill moves, but 4-star weak foot, if that was 5, it would be the perfect CDM for me guys in terms of the value to his stats cost. 5 games played, 2 goals scored and 3 assists as well. You guys are going to see those goals in there somewhere as well. Now I don't want to show you goals guys, but the point of this card as well is that he is such a good transition player. If you play those driven passes, the L1X passes or the L1A passes for the Xbox users, what you get is you get a player who can really break through the lines, take the attack to the opponent, and you'll see clips where it's from start to finish he's involved in each part of the attack, and that is something that's really special to find in a player, and I absolutely love that about him. In terms of chemistry style guys, I used a shadow on him. Now you could use an engine, you could use an artist. His defense maybe doesn't need boosting for you guys, but for me I want him to be elite at defending. I want him just to be able to hold that down in the center of the park and make sure nobody's getting past me. Now guys, of course, playing in a higher division, I'm coming up against higher skill players. They do find ways to break down my defense, but this guy was in the right position at the right time so often, and that's really fantastic for me. I really loved using this card, and it's a shame that I have to sell him because I really did enjoy using him so much. Getting into the attribute details guys, now this is where things start to get interesting. 95 stamina, 97 jumping, 92 interceptions. It's just fantastic. 86 defensive awareness is, I think it's higher than that. I think he's got better defensive awareness than that. 87 long pass as well. So really his passing stats are pretty decent. It's the parts of his stats which you don't really need to use as a CDM, which are worse, like the vision or the free kick accuracy or the crossing. I don't really use them. I mean, vision, it's kind of an intangible stat, but the passing stats themselves are very good. In terms of his key cons guys, now honestly guys, if I was to look at this card and say what are the key cons, if I was to pick out something that I would like to be better, it would be his agility and balance. I would like that to be slightly better on this card, but overall I think that's not that much of a con for me. I mean, I don't expect my defensive midfielders to be particularly fast, especially given his height and the way that he plays. It's not really a con for me guys, and I have to say this is one of the first cards where it's not, and where I can't really find a really big con of the card. He's a fantastic overall card guys, in every aspect of the game, and as you guys can see, that's shown by the face card stats, which are all 80 plus. Finally, get into player traits. Now there's one negative here guys, which is dives into tackles. He did commit one silly foul for me where he gave away a penalty where I wasn't controlling him, and that was a little bit annoying, but otherwise it didn't really affect him too badly. The leadership trait and the long shot taker trait are pretty good as well. Now guys, this dives into tackles wouldn't be so bad if his composure was higher, but I think that affects it quite a lot, because I've used players who have this trait but a higher composure and they don't seem to do the same thing. So that's something that is a bit of a con of this card, but otherwise nothing to worry home about. And so having covered all that, without further ado, we're going to get into some of the clips that I got with him. So guys, getting into some of Thomas Delaney's clips, and I'm going to show you guys his defending, his passing, his goal scoring, his dribbling. Everything about this card was really great. There you can see an assist he picked up there, a lovely little ball into Torgan Hazard. How's that for a ball as well guys? Lovely ball over the top of the defense. Unfortunately a lot of these didn't pan out to good chances, but it's the capability to be able to do that. The other great thing about this card guys, and it's a little thing but it does help, especially if you do play a 2DM formation or you like your players to be capable, is that he has that 4-star weak, but he is left-footed as well, which is something a bit different. He can therefore take on the right-footed players a little better in terms of defending them as well. You're playing strong foot, 2 strong foot there. Guys, again, you see the shooting pretty good as well. But there, you saw the interception from Torgan Hazard, but it's not that gets the ball, it's his positioning overall. It's absolutely sensational that managed to get him a lot of the passes here that players are trying to put through, stopping the attack, snuffing them out in really good areas, and then guys, the ability just to get forward as well, create chances when I needed him to. Now guys, bear in mind he has a low high work rate, so to create these chances I forced him forward quite a bit, but as you guys could see there, his defensive positioning, I didn't even have control of him, and he managed to get that stop in there, and it was just over and over again intercepting the ball time and time again. It wasn't necessarily even tackles that I was getting with him, it was mostly just interceptions, and that's because of, again, his fantastic defensive positioning. Now guys, something else I'll delve into, which is really great about this card, and it's a really big factor about it, and you'll see it in a number of the clips, is his passing. His passing is pinpoint, pretty good in terms of just picking out the long balls and the short passes as well. He's tough in the tackle, so what you have is just a well-rounded, good defensive midfielder capable of doing every part of the game that you'll need him to do. He doesn't necessarily need to be going forward, he can do your defending, and you can play an attacking player like I did with Wayne Rooney next to him, and you'll be able to cover your defense perfectly fine with him there as well. Lovely little tackle there, and it's a positioning that makes it easy for him just to tackle the ball so cleanly. Now with the chemistry style I put on him as well guys, that meant that his defending was all that a bit better, and this clip here that's coming up will show you exactly what Delaney is all about here. As well as defending, he can finish the ball. This clip here gets the tackle, picks the ball up in the midfield, transitioning into attack now, plays a lovely ball there. Now I forced him to carry on his run. Again, lovely ball into Stoichkov, cutting back into him. He gets that shot off, doesn't quite get it, but a bit of luck. And so guys, getting into this final Thomas Delaney summary, and guys, 185k on the PlayStation, 184k on the Xbox, 246k on the PC. So not cheap, but guys, what I will say is that this card is absolutely fantastic value for what you get out of him, especially if you like your defensive midfielders to be positionally great, really good in the tackle, good at all aspects of the game. Not necessarily stand out in any of them, apart from his defending. I wouldn't say he's a standout in pace, shooting, dribbling, or passing, but he's good enough and he's serviceable enough at those areas to allow him to be a really great all-around player, especially with those work rates, which are so important to this card. I mean, low high work rates, it's just absolutely fantastic in terms of this card as well. His price has dropped a little bit guys, and it will continue to do so a little bit, especially with the Future Stars promo coming out, so please do watch this price guys. You will be able to pick yourself up a bargain if you time it right as well. Finally guys, getting into the recommended chemistry style before we get into the similar and the linked players. Honestly guys, you could mix it up with this card, and that's the beauty of this card as well. With the stats that he has, the artist might suit him really well, so you boost his passing and dribbling, and the engine might do him really well as well, just to boost all aspects of that technical game that he maybe lacks in a little bit. Or you could boost his pace, defending, and physicality with an anchor. That would do him some good as well. Guys, I think there's so many things you could do with this card, even a sentinel, which would really take his defending to another level. I personally put shadow on him. I just want his defending and his pace to be elite, but I think an anchor may be the best way for this card to go, especially if you do play him at defensive midfield. Getting into the similar players, guys. Now, I don't want to say Lothar Matthäus. I think Under Kappa is a pretty good shout. He's obviously better than Kappa at defending. Very similar style of play to this Coquelin Kappa kind of build. Quick in and around the midfield, strong, powerful tackles, and getting the job done against the attackers where needs be. Perfect links, he doesn't have any, but of course when it comes to strong links, he's got a bunch of fantastic links. You've got links to that record breaker Sancho, every version of Erling Haaland, of course. You've got Marco Reus's link. You've obviously got Emmanuel Akanji link at the back, Julian Brandt, Axel Witsel, Torgan Hazard, whose review as well is coming up, so please do check that out. Guys, it's fantastic. Even icon links to Schmeichel, and I think you can play this card as centre back, guys, just if anyone was wondering. I think it's more than serviceable at centre back and could be a really good card there as well, given that he's got the stats to boost and enable him to be an even better centre back than most of the actual ones in game. You can get him onto 7 chem and he'll be absolutely fantastic for you guys there as well. Getting into my final recommendation, guys, and honestly, guys, it's a no-brainer for me. This guy is absolutely fantastic. I cannot recommend him enough in terms of the value to what you get for your player. He's absolutely brilliant. He will do every job that you need him to as a defensive midfielder, and you guys will not regret getting this card. I would stake my hat on that. Hope you guys did enjoy this review. If you did, please do smash that like button, and until next time, I'll see you all in a bit.